Hey y'all, Chris here again. I'm going to show you off another guitar stop box circuit that you might be interested in. What we got here is a nice tremolo. We have a depth adjust. We got our speed. It's a very in the room with it. It probably doesn't show through, but it has on the video as well. But it has a very Leslie-ish sound to it. So I will take a minute here and show you what we got going on. To begin with, I hunted for some years, and every tremolo circuit that I came up with, that I found schematics for, seemed to be very overly complicated. I basically, what I have done here, and I know I didn't invent this by any stretch of the means, but I don't know where the first place it was ever used this way is, to give credit. I had started with an oscillator, and I was just looking for any way that made sense to control a signal of an op amp or an amplifier. And what I did here, I believe that this oscillator possibly came from a DoD pedal of some level. Don't remember for sure where I first found this oscillator layout, but the 741 on this side of the tremolo is the oscillator. We're real basic. You might notice that my cap values are kind of odd, 0.94 on the 3 cap values there. I'm using doubled up 0.47s, and it just put it in the exact right speed range that I would use. We oscillate and pulse a signal out of this op amp. We're passing it into a depth control right here, and we are passing that into an LED. Mechanically connected to the LED, I tied the LED to an LDR, which we're taking the input signal to an LM386 audio amplifier, and we're just grounding out the audio in signal with the LDR. Right here, if you don't see that. And this is a very simple LM386 audio amplifier IC, which is a single supply audio amp IC. Works beautifully for this. We have a volume control here, which I have just used a trimmer. That way I could get it in the range. When I clicked off and on, it's very close. Gain of your LM386 is controlled up here by this resistor and capacitor. It will have a gain of 20, I believe it is, with those left out totally, and then shorted totally together with the cap and no resistor between there. I believe it's a gain of 200 or maybe greater. I don't remember off the top of my head. Very straightforward, and I'm sure there's other straightforward tremolo circuits out there, but I sure had trouble finding them. So when I came up with the idea using the LED LDR there, I thought I'd done something creative, and then found some Fender amplifiers that use something quite similar to this along the way, and it does work beautifully. It's one of the better sounding tremolos I've ever played on, and it's I kind of did it quite by accident that it wound up that it sounds that well. Real straightforward. You can use on the op amp a TLO71 will work just fine, but it is just an oscillator, so the 741 works great. But if you have TLO71, or I believe it's a TLO81 is the single op amp with the same pin out, it's pretty much gonna probably work there. It is just an oscillator. The LM386 is handling all of the audio. So did need to use a little bigger enclosure. When I built this, wasn't really trying to fit it in a stomp box. I was going to use it on my mono synth project up here, and it wound up being it didn't work well on my mono synth. I built this circuit before, but I spread it out a little too much, so I went with a BB style box and had to scrunch to get her in there, but she got her to fit. She works pretty good, and pretty straightforward design, easy enough to build, and you could definitely shrink it. You could probably get it into a B box, the single wide box, but I would say a BB is probably going to be a lot easier on you to get it in there. You're not going to be cramming everything quite so tight. Have a look at the schematic one more time, and thank you all for watching.